feel drained right now. So I coped through the last 1.5 days. So I got the acupressure points for the thing that the ones that Acupro Academy said that gave you the most bang for your buck for releasing heat and dealing with heat. And so yesterday was mainly what was for 4 hours, which it's hard to justify that. They told me they're only going out for a haircut, and then it turned into a shopping spree, which I just wasn't expecting. Though it did enable me to get a couple of. It's enabled me to buy two indoor plants for my desk for plant energy medicine, and it's enabled me to. I have this goal which I've ticked off twice now for making a person's fantasies come true, and to desensationalize that. You guys don't know how much of an ability you have to make someone's days, and you don't know how much of an ability that you have to actually make someone's fantasy come true. It's like how contradictory a lot of the fantasies of today's age are. Like, it may be that you just have to have put in a lot of energy just to get to these states of bliss in order to feel like you can just ditch some scarcity that's unnecessary. Like, for example, people just saying to themselves their money doesn't matter and then clinging on to it like it's life or death in a lot of cases. Like, how much of the spiritual community and how much of the middle class at the moment are just plain hypocrites for these spiritual generalizations? Like, materialism doesn't matter, although you get Christmas presents wrong. Oh boy. Like the people who say that, oh, it's the small things that matter. Well, if it's the small things that matter, then go ahead and just play basic things like board games and have cricket activities. Just find some open door there for Christmas. And yet, oh no, I don't think it's much of a. It is a sad reality of today's time, although it's. I might just walk around the place spewing because I just feel like my throat chakra's loaded up again. It's a sad reality to have Christmas presents early. Although then again, I think the Christmas tradition is inevitably going to be flawed, like pretty much everything else in this culture. This upside down culture, right? I have to be careful what I say because otherwise YouTube will might just yeet me, and then that'll take all the world records along with it because I couldn't upload. It was way too damn tedious to upload the records via the record setter website, so I had to embed them via YouTube. And while I'm pretty sure YouTube doesn't care about me whatsoever. Like, it doesn't care about Markiplier. Like the hospitals didn't care enough about Einstein just to give him a doctor that actually spoke his god-flipping language. Like, how do you mess that up? How do you mess up? This guy with astronomical discoveries, a lot of which I don't know because I haven't really went into Einstein's history, although there's an audiobook on the world as I see it by Einstein on YouTube. You can get it for completely free, although I just wasn't able to listen to it for some reason. How do you mess that up? Like those families at the top of the thing, they do an extraordinary job of just making everything indifferent. And like I know that I matter a ton to the people around here. But, like, I do love it when you guys shout my name from a distance. It's not enough to make my day, although it makes you feel significant. I guess only a difference. I really went on a big tangent, didn't I? I really went on a big tangent. So, large intestine 11, most useful for dispersing heat, and of course I don't fully know what that means yet regarding just having your system quite easily dispose of at least a lot of the crud that just gets stored in large intestine channels. For the emotions of the Virginia Satir stress stances, which is obviously where I'm analysing everything from, because I just think that it'll simplify everything. And that's been the major, that's been the major meridian that I've used a relief placebo on for whenever I've basically felt like I need a breath of fresh air, and it worked quite well. I experienced quite a bit of low-level bliss and happiness in the car yesterday for pericardium 3. I might be getting the number wrong, although there's a pericardium meaning 2 wall muscle linings of your heart. There's a point directly underneath right here, so right where I'm pointing, right here with my middle finger. That she said that. She said if you have paranoia and uncontrollable laughing, that's the point of solve that. So, and also very useful. I'm not going to be able to point to it, although heart 8, I believe it was, 1 un below below that wrist bone. That's the golden rotated quartz works great on that, and so I had both tuning forks because absolute requirement, and again a woman was amazed to hear from me that you can the usefulness of that 128 and 256 hertz tuning fork as a motion converter. That I told a woman that if I had known what I told her, that would have saved me from a memory that felt crushing at the time. And now the exact same situation I can get into these blissful states for, because I know a bit of how to do it. I know a bit of how to do it. What crushed me before? What crushed me before? It was if you're in a car with people, with sick people who don't realize how much negativity they're surrounded by, and you're not sick yourself, because I just almost never get physically sick, being a rarity in the UK right now. Their negativity can just crush you from the inside if you're stuck for hours and hours, and so I regretted the whole day. After it's actually one of my darkest memories, and the solution for that, which I haven't seen anywhere. If I've got it with me, I didn't bring anything with me, which thankfully I haven't needed to. Is black tourmaline with 128 hertz tuning fork absolutely a requirement if you are in. If you're stuck with negative people and you don't want to feel drained by them and eventually getting crushed from the inside out, it's literally if you don't want the life drained out of you, then spend £8 on a tuning fork and spend what you can get. I got one of my black tourmalines for less than £5 from a basic shop. Make sure the black tourmaline is charged up, and learn how to feel the basic aura of your heart, because you don't want that thing. You want to protect that thing from that negative aura of the people around you. Otherwise, you're gonna feel like hell, as you're gonna feel like hell. So for a lot of that day, I just had my golden roof-layered quartz just pointed directly into pericardium 8, and on the other hand as well. And it's enabled me to get through the day quite smoothly, and quite happily too. Though I then had a got back home. It gave me enough energy to study, although I really wish I could have spent more than an hour studying the basics of these Chinese acupressure meridians for the tuning fork therapy, for the crystal optimization, and for how much power I have within my system just to feel good for no reason. This is going to be the point where I just turn back. And so, like, woke up, and we'll say that I don't have the same wake up routine as most of the people in the UK do, because I figured out how to optimize it so I don't really lose any power whatsoever, like a lot of you know. And I knew that I could say a lot more detail to you guys, because I don't think the parkour community is nearly as dumb and not as vital as koi fish. Like, although you guys are way just damn more responsive on YouTube Shorts than on Instagram. Like, compared to YouTube Shorts, which you guys probably know where I was anyway, just because of word of mouth, which it's a good thing that you guys were attentive enough to actually to cross over to here immediately. Instagram's like just so much more designed for just driving tons of attention to really bad selfies. Like a girl can just go in the mirror, and to get like 1,000 more likes that a person who actually does something worthwhile is crazy. It's crazy. Thanks for getting a bit more traction. You wouldn't believe how long you wouldn't believe how long it took. Like, although now you can get quite a lot of YouTube success just like far easier than it was like 2 years ago, right? So I had like a cross between PG-13 and PG-18 dream, where I think the detail that I can leave in it wasn't that PG-18 whatsoever. Although with dreams, because they're such a cross, but because they're so jumbled up, if I even leave in PG-18 detail, it would be like, no, you have no clue what's in my psychology, because sex and dreams might not even represent sex in real life for me. I wonder if I can even say that on YouTube at the moment. And can't go on Odyssey because the player on Odyssey absolutely sucks. The player on Odyssey absolutely sucks. It's mainly just useful for downloading videos. And audiobooks. I have a big 20-40 hour audiobook that spanned from a lot of places, and it is only really available on Odyssey because it's useful for that stuff. On my hard drive right now, from a very controversial figure who's been skewed a lot. Although I haven't went through it because I just don't feel like I'm able to go through it. So I think the summary of the dream is, it made me very sad about basically just not having a girl. and I had to relieve that with a relief receiver applied to heart 8 on my wrist right there, on the edge of my wrist right there. I'll make this ending quite funny. In walking back through town, because like with the things that are happening, I have this index of low esteemed things that people do in my head. Yeah, receiving Christmas presents pretty sad. Receiving Christmas presents early, like November early, pretty sad. Although it's understandable considering what's happening. It's understandable considering what's happening and the pains that people are having right now, that they just can't be bothered to figure out. I'm the only. I feel like I'm pretty much the only person here figuring out anything useful. Figuring out anything at all. Like, you could just ask professionals questions on YouTube, and they'll come back with these generalized responses. Well, very dependent on the patient. Isn't that a response that often just means I have no fucking clue what you're saying, or I don't know how to respond to that because I've just been posting generalized stuff about my profession for a few years and nobody's actually thought about really anything about it in the comment section, because I might be wrong, although like 50, you could just read through some comment sections. There's not that many comments in quite a lot of the YouTubers' comment sections, right? And you're probably just going to have all these generalized supportive comments that aren't practical, like people say to post ideas, although I don't think I've seen one productive idea in the comment section in a while. Although I couldn't really read through the comment section of the tech tip stuff. So, or should I just? Oh, look. I don't know how many controversial terms I can include on this. I feel like I have to be extremely PG on it. In order to say anything, it might be that I can just quote subject fields. I might just be able to quote subject fields and not have any issue with that. So there's a not safe for work version of the virtual reality headset, which understandable, bulletproofed myself from it, so I don't need it. And I thought regarding an addiction, like if I went into the negative portion of that, there is a subtle trap for it. There is a subtle trap for it, which I doubt you can name. I think that I'm one of the few that know about it, unless there's more than I expect to know about it. That just fill up my emotional battery. Such I quite drained after. I'll spew the saddest thing, which I think is there, like the lowest. Actually, well, it's not even the lowest that I know of, because someone beats it. Someone around here beats it. It's not that much of a niche or subject field, because it's very small. There I might just have a hard time trying not to laugh about this. Oh, I might just have a hard time trying not to laugh at this. Anyway, so with touch deprivation, and I think the mainstream media is just teaching people really just damn flawed things about it. People are desperate to. A lot of people are just desperate to 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 hug people and to cuddle with people, and just to fill up that basic human need, or just for meaningful fulfillment. Though, like I saw this YouTube thumbnail months ago. I saw the thumbnail months ago. For I was lonely, so I hired a professional cuddler. And then months later, I just decided to look into it. And there was a dating website called Cuddlist, I think. Then there was a website. There was a website offering a professional cuddling qualification. If qualifications couldn't get any worse than that, and they were offering £110 for it, and the only two relevant, the only two areas of that qualification that might have actually been relevant were the psychology and physiology of cuddling, and there was another section which might have been remotely useful. People usually finish it way before the due date, and I looked for another website. Like that website only offered professional the virtually none over the UK, but mainly just based in London. A few bits in London. There. Looked at another website which took it. There's the other woman, nothing like her. Looked at another website that took it. See here. Another website that just took how sad it was further. It had this embedded YouTube video on it. It had this embedded YouTube video on it. Which I don't know how you would get sadder than that, although I think the human species can figure out how to make it sadder than that. Imagine, like of course, cuddling poses. Although, it's basically how sad consent is. Just up to the abs. It's just up to the absolute max. It's talk about brainwaves, and a brainwave is a person who's still not an idiot because they can still do basic things and they still have common sense in them. Although they've been listening to the mainstream media way too damn much, and they actually believe the BS in it. I haven't listened to the mainstream media in a very long time. Don't regret it, and oh my god. If you just, I'm gonna. I feel like I'm gonna have to go another way to the primary school, just in case the primary school children call me over now. What a sad, what a sad reality. So So, person, person might have just been acting, or the person walks into the front door and says, "Can I hug you?" And this is like then, like in real life, you just if you actually have confidence in you actually just experience the stuff to be a lot different. Then the person the professional is just is going through like it's like how sad safeguarding policies are right now. Like, I'm gonna do this, and if you want me to stop doing it here, you can. And oh, like, do you have to have permission? Like, it might it might actually be this sad. It might actually be that sad in a few years, and by a few years, like, I'm just. I'm just really cautious about what's going to happen over the next 1-2 years. Like, am I going to have to just study all the time in order to pass time and basically just get through it, or is something actually, or is something else just going to happen? Hopefully, something else happens. Although it might just be that I just go and survive the next 5-7 years. By studying acupressure, knowing the ins and outs of it. There was that. Oh boy. I think that's it for the time being.